Hey, friend. Welcome to the Inimitable podcast. I'm your host, Jermaine Harrison. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, mentor, visionary, transitional life coach, and of course, I am a neurospicy black sheep. Inimitable means something that is so unique, it is impossible to duplicate. This pod is for the neurospicy who are building mental wealth without a blueprint. Thank you for coming, and if you're here, it's because God needed you here. I hope you enjoy this episode, and I'll see you soon. And we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Inimitable podcast. We have made it to episode 8. And listen here, y'all. I really hope you guys had an amazing holiday yesterday. And happy Kwanzaa. The first day of Kwanzaa is today, if that's your thing. Hey, y'all. So today, I started this pod with my brother, and he did amazing. And if you missed it, go watch it. But in the meantime, in between time, I have my cousin here. Y'all see Harrison's at the end of our name because we real cousins, like cousins, like blood cousins. Anyway, she is the director of the We Rise program, which is a mentoring program for CSEC young individuals. So Consuela, say hello to the pod.
Hey, y'all.
And she's true to this, man. She be watching, so I appreciate it. So, as you guys have seen, the title of this is Family Secrets. Now, that might be off-putting for some people. It might be intriguing to others. But trust and believe it, we're just not airing out Harrison secrets. That's not what this is for. What this is for is to really talk about stuff that is plaguing a lot of families from a lot of different spaces, a lot of different places. And that's family secrets because, you know, families, we carry a lot of things. And we also hide a lot of things. And we're not always open about the things that are happening within the proverbial four walls of the family. So, you know, that's why I want to talk about it. And who better talk about it than one of your family? You know? So, Consuela. When it comes to family things, I feel like just starting off generic on what happens when families go through things and nobody wants to talk about it. Like pros and cons. Let's talk about the pros and cons of family secrets, if there are any.
Yeah, nah. First I'm gonna say that for most families, right? We are all not from Encanto. We're all not Bruno, right? We don't talk about Bruno. No. Like that's not where we're at, and that's not what we're doing.
Right.
I believe for myself that there really aren't any pros when it comes to family secrets, right? I feel like if you are withholding information that could be helpful to somebody, it should be said. If it's something that can help somebody's life, it can help another person. Just giving insight, just being maybe a support system for somebody, that should come off naturally. It shouldn't be a secret about it. Speaking from experience, I feel like if when I was younger, if I had, or if my family knew that things were going on, situations were going on within like my life, and people were actually reaching out who are my family, then things would turn out a little bit differently. However, I'm doing great now. However, back then, I think that with the support and just like my cousins being aware and kind of understanding my lifestyle and what I was doing would make more sense now. And as adults, we're having conversations and like, it's kind of like, what? This happened? How come I didn't know about that? We was asking about you. Well, y'all wasn't asking the right person. Y'all wasn't asking me when you seen me. So I think that keeping secrets is not really beneficial in any way at all.
Yeah, that's so good. So background information. This conversation really started because you know Consuela's again she's not new to this, she's true to this. She knows I do podcast episodes, and you know me, her, and my friend, we were all sitting around playing whatever that game is, like the questions where you try to get to know the person, where they have one for family, they have one for dating, blah blah blah. So we were having this conversation. I'm just asking questions, and I'm like, oh, okay. And as these questions are going, I'm like, I'm sorry. What? I had no idea. Consuela was sharing some things, and I said, how long ago was this? This happened when? Who? And she filled in so many gaps of Jermaine's mind because there were so many things. I'm like, why is Consuela? Why she be acting like this? Why she be so closed off? And then I'm sitting there listening to her, like, well, there you go. This is why, you know. And me and Consuela aren't distant cousins. Like, we were raised as twins for like the first 10 years of our lives, right? Like,
Literally.
everything was double. She had one outfit, I had the other one. We're only 34 days apart, technically speaking. And there was just so much I didn't know. And I'm just like, this is crazy. So she's right. There is nothing beneficial about keeping family secrets. If there were information that was provided, I would have viewed Consuela very differently, our relationship very differently. And I would have been like, y'all should have told me. I wasn't as gangster as I am now. I would have gone to bat for my cousin if I knew some of the things that was happening. But I had no idea. So, yes, there are no pros to these things. They're all cons. Please don't keep silent, y'all, because this is hard. I know it's hard. Family members like to keep things closed because they don't want to out other people or pride, whatever. That's the thing. So Consuela and I are in very similar fields. I'm obviously mental health field. She deals with C-sec individuals, but maybe they don't know who C-sec individuals are. So Consuela, can you give us some insight as to the population that you work with?
I sure can. So C-sec youth, which is commercial sexual exploited children, are youth under the age of 18 who are either at risk of being exploited or sex trafficked. And that can look anything as you may have a kid at home, you may know somebody, a friend, you may have a peer, a friend's daughter, a friend's son, either or, but someone who may be exchanging a sexual act for something that is so simple as a roof over their head because they got kicked out of the house. It could be as simple as food scarcity. So maybe they weren't able, there's no food at home. They did sexual acts, able to get food, maybe sneakers. It really is such a broad range of things and so many multiple reasons of why the action is happening. But that is the youth that I work with.
Mm-hmm. So she works or has worked in residential programs. Now she's in community-based. I have worked in residential programs. And so I've kind of seen how youth are when they're removed from the home and kind of listening to their stories of like, yeah, man, my family fill in the blank, right? So obviously we can't say too much because confidentiality is a thing. But when it comes to these young people that you've encountered and family dynamics, how have family dynamics played a role in the lives of these young people that are no longer at home?
I mean, family dynamics will always play a role. I feel like who doesn't ever want their mother, their father, their siblings, their cousins? Who doesn't want the family? I think that we're learning now in the field is that family is important to you, right? It's important. Permanency is important. Having a long time support is important, even if that's somebody that you met along the process, along the way. It's extremely important, 100%. And with my team, we try to do that. We try to be the ones who are a lifelong support. So that way, no matter what happens throughout the process, because it is a process, right? You got to trust in the process. Yeah. It's not something that you can stop or it just stops all of a sudden. It takes time. It can take years. It can take however long it needs to be, but we got your back the whole time. And that's what family is, right? Somebody who's supporting you, who loves you unconditionally, who's going to be step by step. May check you when you're wrong behind closed doors, but got your back, you know what I'm saying, in front, like in your face. And that's really what our youth need. And that's something permanency is such a big thing that we're trying to figure out and just trying to find. And it's kind of hard to do that, especially when some families have given up or there's secrets that haven't been told or the youth are exposing the secrets and everybody's upset and mad. But baby, it had to be said. Baby, it had to be checked into. Baby, something had to be done about it. And don't fault them for that. Give them grace, let them heal, let them get the strength back to be able to stand on their 2 feet. And when you don't do that, all you're doing is pushing them down, and that's not a good thing. You shouldn't be knocking anybody down, especially not our youth.
Girl, so what we not gonna do is just brush over that. Young people, now let me tell you about this generation is different. Okay, they're very bold, very in your face, very, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and I'm not gonna apologize for what I say. And you, whether you like it or not, it said, and that's it. They are exposing things. They have a lot of questions, and they have a lot of things that they're just like, the math don't math here, Nana or grandma or dad or sis. It's just not, it's not there. And the way, excuse me, y'all, the way that families are so conditioned to hide secrets that they are willing to throw out a whole individual instead of facing the facts is mind blowing, right?
Mhm.
So I love that you brought attention to that, because that definitely happens. I've encountered some young people that like, I just wanted to know, like you said, talk about Bruno. While uncle over there, everybody's like, don't bring him. And if he's around, hide your alcohol. Because little did we know, the uncle over there touched his sister,
Mhm.
his niece, his daughter. But we are so protective of people that we don't realize by trying to protect people, we're actually harming future generations. And this generation, they're going to call it out like they see it.
Mhm.
It is what it is. We millennials were taught to be quiet. I don't care what you see. Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
You try that with this generation. They're like,
Mhm.
shut up for what? Matter of fact, I'm going to say it louder. So thank you for saying that. We got some people on Instagram, so I guess they can't see us on Instagram. Your sister Tiara put 100% in the comment section. If y'all are in the comments, if y'all are watching this, say hey, drop us some lines, questions, whatever. Kiana said that's good. They need the answers. They absolutely do need answers, because let me tell you, these family secrets are insane. Okay. So
Mhm.
thank you for sharing that. Family is absolutely important. I don't know anyone that can function without family.
Mhm.
But what happens when the family is toxic? So I feel like that's a perfect segue into the next thing of like, when you have unhealthy family members, how do we confront these family secrets? Because I don't know if that's an art that a lot of people have or are willing to have. So once we see something, once we recognize a pattern, how do we do anything? Hey, Lamari.
Whew. Well, let me tell y'all, so I gotta get closer to the camera because
Oh,
for me,
mm-hmm.
um, I'm saying this and what I gotta say. I'm, I'm disconnecting. I'm letting you know why. I'm confronting it, and I think, as you said, it's not for everybody, right? Everybody is not able to, stand up and be able to say how they're feeling, or say that you crossed a boundary, or
Yeah.
to state that, or to even, regulate their emotions when it comes to certain things. Baby, I'm going to sit there and tell you what it is. I may try to, change my words. I may code switch a little bit to try to make it a little less of a blow. But baby, I'm gonna come for you. I'm gonna let you know you crossed the boundary. I'm gonna let you know that it needs to be addressed. And then if you want to address it, we can take it there. If not, then I'm gonna let you go. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is.
I mean, we love that for you, but and again, so I know her as my twin. She the more assertive one. Um, where Jermaine's gonna be like,
However, yes. Now, if I'm talking to that's me, right? That's me. Okay. If I'm talking to like a peer, a youth, a friend who maybe not be as assertive as me, right? So let's jot down exactly what the boundaries were, right? Let's actually acknowledge, let's see what it is.
mm-hmm.
Let's have a dialogue about how you would like to have a conversation. Do you feel comfortable having a conversation? If you don't, it's just somebody you feel safe with that you can add on, who can be there kind of as a mediator for the conversation. So then I would adjust it in that way to help others. But for me, so
I mean, I like that. You do have to inquire with the other person, like whether you want to have a nice little dialogue, family intervention. I don't know, but it definitely has to be spoken on, right? Because
mhm.
again, in that conversation that Consuela and I had, no, I mean, my friend was there, but like the way that I had to sit with the information that Consuela gave me, I said, hold on, I need to process this. Because again, this was years that Consuela just was like, well, this is my truth. And I said, oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. I don't care how clinically sound I am. My brain was like, hold on. let me process this. And what she did well, and I appreciate Consuela for this, is that she allowed me to have follow-up questions, whether it was days after, weeks after. Like, I feel like I'm still coming to her periodically, like, so you mean to tell me? Like, okay. So yes, have the conversation and be open to having follow-up. And sometimes it takes humility, people. You have to humble yourselves because these are things that have to be broken. So many generations are carrying things that should have been deaded a long time ago, but they were silenced for too long, right? And so the ability to have this conversation, have follow-up conversations, and say what needs to be said while being courteous and compassionate towards the other person and how they might receive it, but just say your truth, man, because it is absolutely necessary. More people in the comments. Hey guys, thanks for sharing. There's a conversation that I wanted to start with you on, live discussion.
Uh-huh.
And that is Consuela, you're Consuela. Tiara said, did you guys play the card game I told you about?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Tiara, we did. And having that conversation. There's a need to talk about generational stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're the same age, quite literally. We're that age. Now, having this conversation with Jermaine probably is very different than, the generations that came before us. So when it comes to saying things and opening up and airing out that laundry to the older generation, does it look different? Is it the same? Do we need family therapy to do so? Like, how do we do it?
I think for me, I mean, what you see is what you get from me. Like, I know, as my cousin, I know my peoples know who I work. Like, what you see is what you get. There is no change in me. Yeah. I think that when talking to, let's say, the older generation, right? Because we're talking about, at least for me, my younger self. So it would be the older generation who was around during my younger years, who was part of my life experiences. And I feel like sometimes for me, it would be more of like let's kind of talk it out. I'm not going to bring as much oomph to the conversation because I know that, and it's okay that some people, hearing things, not remembering things, not understanding, not knowing the language that we use now in order to communicate and have open dialogue about traumas and things like that is sometimes hard and not really sure how to sit there and hold that conversation, or they may not be in the space to hold it or don't know how to. So, I got to give grace to the older generation when it comes to family things and kind of situations and elaborating on what that was. Yeah, damn, did I answer your question?
You sure did. Okay. I think, what's beautiful on Mari. What's beautiful about what you said that stood out to me was when you mentioned the language barriers, right? I think, first of all, our generation, I'm sure the generation before us is like, I don't understand a word that they're saying. It makes no sense. This generation, I literally be like, I'm sorry, English, please. Can I get a translator? Because what? That's not English. And being able to, again, humble yourself as the older generation, listening to the younger generation. I don't know if you have this experience, or maybe it was just Jermaine. But when I was growing up, it was a girl, you 12, you ain't got no problems. Girl, you you'll be fine. I'm like, hold on. Because last I checked, you went through some things at my age. And I'm sure no one listened to you. So what you're inadvertently doing is passing on this lineage of we ain't gonna listen until you become an adult. Let me tell y'all about my mama. Love my mama. If you're watching this, hey mom. My mom be dropping some things on me since watching these podcasts. We'll be out to dinner. She's like, you know what? This happened to me. And I'm like, Mom, Why did you keep this a secret for so like ma'am, I wish I knew this like 10, 15 years ago, whatever. It just don't happen that way. So I feel like you have a son, he
Mhm.
downstairs playing video games as we speak.
Uh-huh.
How do you manage to keep like communication open and the space safe enough where he can come to you about stuff or you can come to him about stuff and it still
Yeah.
be a loving, respecting space?
So one thing about Malik, he's definitely my twin. He's definitely attitude, personality wise. He's definitely me for sure. um, and then not just him, but also with Lamari, I feel like, and this is actually me learning this through work. It's really learning how to sit there and listen. So there be times where I'm like, y'all done da 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 and blah blah blah. I'm amped. I'm going in, and then I take him in. And I'm like, bitch, you over here tripping. Like you over here tripping. Chill out for a minute, and I'll
Mm,
walk away. I'll separate myself, and then when I'm in a calmer space, I'll apologize. If the one thing about me, I ain't gonna apologize unless I mean it. If I don't mean it, I'm not saying sorry. Um, so I'll
okay.
come back and have a conversation, just be like, this is kind of where I was coming from. Explain to me, like, help me understand your thought process of why you did A, B, and C. Help me understand, like, what was going on during this time. Help me understand why this was going on. And then I feel like Malik's a little different as me raising a boy to a man. He keep a little secret, you know what I'm saying?
Mm,
He do his little own thing. But for the most part, I feel like we do have a decent communication and understanding because I have learned to be able to try to have conversations after. Sometimes during the moment, I like I'm not in this space or like whatever the case may be, ask. Not all the time because I ain't perfect, I ain't great, it don't always work like that.
mm,
However, when I do recognize that it's heated and we need to have an open communication about something, I want to address something, I make sure that it's a calm space. I'm actually listening to
mm.
what they're saying. I'll ask, are you actually like, are you done? Before I give my input, before I say anything, like, are you finished with the conversation? Have you said everything you had to get off your chest?
That's
And now
good.
I'm going to say what I have to say. And I feel like it's worked out for me, Malik, and Lamari. So,
That's so good. I love that because as a onlooker, as audience, like I see the constant communication, right? And I've seen how the three of you, since we put Lamari in there, right? How the three of you communicate with each other. Like sometimes from the outside looking in, they're like, why are they arguing? But somehow y'all just like work
yeah,
yourself through it, whatever the disagreement is, and you're just like, all right, cool. Anyway, you want some soda? Like
yeah,
and it works. And I feel like that's what's missing, like this ability to have conversation and it be understanding that like I ain't coming against you. I'm trying to figure you out because maybe I don't know. Maybe I
mhm,
missed something. Maybe I did something that didn't sit well with you, but like now we're having a conversation. Like I love that. And I believe that's the breakdown, a part of the family breakdowns that are leading kids or anybody to either try to like separate themselves from the family or just like not interact and whatnot. Which leads me to my next question. Now, this might get a little deep,
okay,
but however you want to go, sis, I'm gonna follow you. We obviously just spent holiday together, right?
yeah,
And
mhm,
most people did for Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate. And
yeah,
some people really like get this like internal anxiety about being around family because they're just like, mm-mm.
mhm,
I feel like dealing with the questions. I don't feel like dealing with the BS, or I have memories that they don't have, like you said, and Lamari double down on remembering things. Some people just don't remember. How do you manage, or how did you manage this? Like, I gotta go around these people that aren't really feeling it right now, but here we are. Hey, fam, how'd you do it?
um, I had to realize that honestly, at the end of the day, I got me right. So family and not at the end of the day. For as an example, I know we're talking about this recent holiday, but growing up, when I would just randomly come to events or a family was hosting stuff, and like it was like, all right, I'm isolated. I'm me. I'm in foster care, like I'm doing this, but when I'm around my family, where I act like everything's brand new, say less, I got you. I'm gonna play the role too, and that's what it was for
Mm,
me. I'll play that same role that we all playing, without addressing anything. And for me, it's just I always got me. I don't have anger towards anybody in the family for anything, because how is y'all gonna know? Especially my cousins, where we're all around the same, literally we're all within the same age range.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't know because your parents didn't tell you. You know what I'm saying? No, nobody understood, nobody knew. We just knew that Consuela was like, we see her, we don't see her. Sometimes
Right.
we do, sometimes we don't. Sometimes she got an attitude, sometimes she don't. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm rocking with you, sometimes I'm not. And it wasn't anything, it was me having to find myself and having to find out how I place myself when I'm around y'all. Because I'm not on a day-to-day basis. I'm not as you used to be growing up. I'm not when, you know what I'm saying, everybody was around at your aunt's house on Layton Street and Lynn, you know what I'm saying? Like with the big Christmas tree and all the Christmas presents and all the family. We haven't had that. And I was so removed from it for so long that it's like I could only count on me. So it's really forgiveness for everybody else and for myself. Like, this is who I am now. And you're going to take care of you or not. So I'm going to be around my family. I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm going to just, take it day by day, minute by minute, second by second. And we're going to have a good time.
Mm-hmm. Y'all, my brain, again, that conversation that night exploded because, like she said, I had no idea Miss Ma'am was in foster care. Not one. I said, I'm sorry. When? And she's like, around this age and that age. And I said, so you were there. Again, we was raised as twins. Literally, when you saw me, seen her, there ain't not one picture like from a certain age where Jermaine Consuela right there, like smack dab. I was, dark skin, light skin. We were just the same thing, two separate bodies, right?
It's the Brandy and Monica situation.
Yes, period. And then she disappeared, and I was like, so where'd she go? Don't want to tell me. The same thing with my brother. I had no idea my brother was in group homes until I'm looking at the pictures. I was like, wait a minute. So that wasn't one of his family's house? That was what? Now, I respect it. You don't want to say everything depending on someone's age. I respect that. But to completely just bypass information that probably would have been important to know, I'm like, why don't I'm confused? And my brain was literally like so confused. And the fact that Consuela, as you just mentioned, was able to just like heal and understand that it, because I don't know if I could do that. I probably still be bitter to this day, but that's me, not you. We praise God for your ability to navigate these spaces. But like, I still just don't know how you did it. Like, to be removed from the family, but then have to be in the family space and then knowing that they don't know. Like, I don't know. Comment section, y'all got questions for her because I'm still I'm still sitting with it, trying to realize it. But like family breakdowns, I think was the next question I was supposed to talk about. When there's a breakdown in family, whether it's communication, death of someone, or just I don't know, families breaking apart, right? How do we mend these things, man? Like how do we as family members do better to like bring people together again?
I feel like it honestly depends on the individual, because there's maybe some individuals who don't want to mend it, right? So you can't mend something that wants to stay broken. So it's really on an individual basis. If, you know what I'm saying, it just has to be on the individual. I don't think that we can ever force people to be around people, to conversate, to be in the same space. I also don't support that. If you're not feeling comfortable, you don't no longer, I don't, if that's not what it is for you, you don't got to do it. Don't feel like you have to. Same thing like something as simple as like, kissing aunts and uncles and stuff. If you're at an age and you're like, I'm not, like, I don't want to do that anymore, you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't be forced to. It's not something that you have to do. I feel like sometimes, especially within our family, in our culture, is just kind of like, well, no, it's an expectation. Like your auntie kiss, you got to get, but you don't. No, you don't. If you choose not to, you choose not to. And how dare you be upset that, he or she is having their boundaries and saying, no, I'm not doing this. You got to respect that. So I feel like it has to be individually. If we would all agree upon and say, let's mend this family, let's mend this conversation, let's mend whatever's broken, cool. But if others like, I'm not for it, you got to let it be. That's
I love that. Tierra asks, what age were you in care?
From the time I want to say 11, 12, up until I was 21, 20. Had Malik, all that, still trying to get by.
Yeah. Didn't know any of that. Until she told me, and I was like, no idea. But I love what you said about it has to be respected. And can we talk about boundaries? I love talking about boundaries because I don't think people understand the relevance and how to respect other people's boundaries. And so since you mentioned it, let's just dive into there. Let's put a little pin in our conversation about family. Let's talk about boundaries. So Consuela is really good with her boundaries. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I've been a part of it because I'm the type of person, I'm overly loving. Okay. Give me hugs and kisses and let me love you. And Consuela be looking at me sometimes like, girl, no thank you. and for a while, I'm just like, she don't love. I used to go home to my mom all the time, like, Consuela don't love me. Yeah. And it took me years to realize, like, no, Dre, she just got boundaries for whatever reason. And I had to respect that. So, like, boundaries, what boundaries are needed to make sure that familial relationships are healthy? Like, it doesn't mean like maybe like you were saying, like, I don't give you kisses, but I give you a hug. Does it look like maybe I just won't go to this family engagement because it's just a lot? Family boundaries.
I mean, I feel like it's all the above. I feel like at the end of the day, honestly, it starts with like open dialogue, right? You're not gonna know you cross a boundary unless I tell you that. You're not gonna know what's not comfortable for me unless I sit there and tell you. Yeah. So I can't be upset that you're trying to give me a hug, and I'm like, wait, man, hold on, like, don't, not over here. Like, I don't do that. But you have to be aware of that. You know what I'm saying? And if people are asking questions as well, so it's coming from me as well, but then also not asking questions like, oh, like, you seem a little, like, for instance, I think our February Christmas thing we did last year, because we had Christmas in February last year with the family, right?
Don't judge us.
We different.
We listen. We don't judge.
That part. And you were like, I think you hit me up after and was like, you good? Like, you were quiet. And I was like, and for me, it's just like, that's just my demeanor. I'm an observer. I just look around. I'm just chilling. I'm content. Yeah. I got my family. I'm chilling. We eating. We good. I don't need to say nothing. I'm the type that, like, I don't speak unless I need to say something. I'm not going to just sit here and conversate just to conversate. It's not for me. It's not like, it don't work for me. But I'll sit here and listen. I got you. I'll be in listening ear. I'm going to take all that in. But don't think you're always going to get a response. Because when I do speak, I feel like when I speak, it's real. It's authentic. You're going to get what you get from me. As I said, I am who I am. No matter who, whatever space I'm in, workspace, personal, it don't matter. Yeah. I digress. Back to your question about boundaries with families. I think it's more of a dialogue, just kind of understanding in that if, for instance, Lamari doesn't feel comfortable with a family or Malik doesn't feel comfortable telling me, like, I don't really want to go over there, that's cool. Say less. We don't got to, you know what I'm saying? We don't got to do it. If you're not feeling comfortable, it's really just dialogue. It has to be a conversation because we're not going to know if we don't have the conversation to find out what the boundary is. And I personally don't believe that having boundaries can be taught fully. I feel, and what I mean by that is, like, you can learn from your surroundings, like as growing up, right? You're growing up as a child, baby, whatever. You learn things from your surroundings, but once you have it, you either do you or you don't. And I don't know if that makes sense to everybody else, but it's either you got it or you don't got it. It can't really be taught. I don't believe that. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Agreed. Because let me tell you, Jermaine's boundaries, they're getting better. You're getting better. But I say them babies were just as flexible as anything. I would move them. I'd be like, you know what? This person's all right. We can do this and we can. And then I'd be like, Jermaine, you're gonna drive yourself insane because this is crazy, and you need to treat yourself a little bit better. And now, again, they're getting better. Work in progress. I'm working on it. Yes, keys, make boundaries because we need them. I agree. I think the thing about teaching boundaries is it's more personal than anything else, right?
Yeah.
I can't tell you what your personal space looks like. I can tell you what my personal space looks like.
Mhm.
However, personal space needs to be respected because, again, you don't know what traumas people go through, right? It wasn't until my my learning of psychology, where we had a class where we had to like stick our arms out, and it was like, is this your personal space? Yes. Is this the same personal space you have for your sister? Well, no, my sister can get in my face. And, we did that activity, and I realized, like, oh, wow, okay. Personal space is really dependent on who you're interacting with, right? Boundaries are dependent on who you're interacting with. Like, not everyone should have access to who you are in certain areas of your life. And I was like, okay, I can respect that. Now, again, in my learnings, I found out that family almost demands to have no boundaries. They're like, what you mean? I'm your mother. What you mean? I'm your sister. What you mean? I'm your auntie. I get to. And it's like, yeah, but sometimes family be the worst ones.
That part, like time out, flag on the play, blow the whistle, like slow down, take several seats back. I need you to chill out for a minute.
Oh, because they do, and we do. I can't say they, like, I'm not all up in people's stuff. Tiara was like, that's a fact. Tiara is family. That is Consuela's sister. My little cousin. I guess she ain't little no more. She a whole adult. But you know what? Like, y'all always be babies to me. She said, it's it's hard. It's hard.
Mhm.
Tiara said, "Love that I'm grown now and breaking these curses." Yes, ma'am. We all are
Mhm.
breaking them because we need to. We need to, right? Especially when you have kids, right? You're just
Yeah.
like, nah, not my kids. I went through
Mhm.
this. It is what it is. But the hope is that once we start having kids, is that we don't continue these
Yeah.
unhealthy, toxic spaces. So now that we talked about the boundaries, let's take that pin out and head back to the family secrets part. Family secrets. How have they? And again, you go as deep as you need to, sis. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Put that precursor out there. Family secrets have impacted your life. How?
I mean, like I said, like baby, I'm not Bruno. Like it's not. I feel like I was the secret. You feel me? Like it's not like they were family secret. I'm the secret.
Mm,
Um, I'm not on Disney, I'm not on Pixar. You know what I'm saying? This is not like this is not. I'm not just a fictional character that you know what I'm saying. Like I'm me. Um, and I feel like I was a secret. And once again, it just secrets don't secrets don't help nobody. Secrets don't. It just doesn't do good for anybody. Um, I don't know where I'm going with this as I'm talking. um, but yeah. What was your question, May? I just lost my train of thought.
I said, how have family secrets impacted you? And again, you answer what you're comfortable with, and we can move on.
Gotcha. As I mentioned before, I think it's really, like I said, the impact was feeling like I just had to do me and being on my own. And literally, that's what it was being in the system for most. But as I'm speaking for myself, using I statements, for me, it was me. I'm on my own. I'm doing me. I got to learn how to do certain things on my own without the family support, without the family um, being around and not having like a lifelong support, somebody I feel like within the family that I can. So the impact is really just now, it kind of made me who I am today. It kind of made me address things, like address how I address things. It made me how I am. It made my personality. It shaped me to be who I am and why I stand so 10 toes on everything that I do, because you can't tell me nothing. Because I did this.
Yeah.
There were people along the way who helped mold, right? Helped give me suggestions, whatever the case may be. But baby, I did this 10 toes down. This is me. What you see is a product of me. Um, and that's how I feel about it. So the impact, I don't want to say it was fully negative. I just feel like there were, obstacles, tribulations that could have been, prevented if I had the support that I feel like I should have had back then.
Mhm.
But now, baby, I'm good. Maybe they call and ask for me. You know how like you're the black sheep, and then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, you become like the everybody now calling you to do A, B,
Mhm.
C, and D, and now they looking for you. Now that's okay. Keep calling my name. You
Mhm.
I got
Mhm.
it. Say less.
Mhm.
I got the juice, as they say. That's how I be feeling. Sometimes I got the juice. So, this is where we at.
I love that because honestly, excuse me, it's interesting because I always felt like the black sheep. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, nah. My cousins ain't even trying to hang out with me. Like after a certain time, I was like, no, nobody. They don't be inviting me to stuff. Like I don't understand. Like Consuela, my brother, all the other cousins, like they be hanging out, and I just be like, oh, y'all forgot about me.
No,
But
we wasn't supposed to get to the lifestyle we was doing. That's it. You wasn't supposed to be part of that. We had other plans for you, and you doing what you're supposed to be doing.
that's what Louis said, and I was like, you know what? I get it now. But Consuela was talking about this gap of time where like again, I didn't even know she was gone, right? And like to hear her story now and to know that she went through what she went through, but to see the person that she is now, like I be looking up to her sometimes. I'm like, cause let that have been Jermaine. I'm like, screw y'all, Harrison. What? Nah, I'm changing my last name. I could have been real petty, but to see the strong woman that stands before me and before y'all today is amazing because I'm like, ooh, okay, she been through some things and some hard things, and this is the important thing that I wanted to pull out is on my end. I was like, yo, Consuela got straight attitude, and I ain't trying to be around her, and I don't even understand it now. I'm like, okay, that's not attitude. That was survival. That
Mm-hmm.
was Consuela being like, y'all don't know half of what I'm going through right now, but y'all want to be smiling in my face, like, hey, cousin. And I get it now. And this is why, again, open communication, people, it matters. Um, Tiara was saying something and I missed it. Tiara said she grew the closest to my sister in the past 5 to 10 years. She had to grow old to realize this what the situation was at hand. Mm-hmm. Prashia? Anyway, someone said on Instagram, Sway, how does that make you feel that you were the black sheep and now that people are trying to call on you? Oh, yes, that they call on you now. So the people that ignored you, now that they call on you, how does that make you feel?
I feel completely fine. Like I said, they call my name. I love that. It honestly, it gives me more of a like I made the right choices in life, right? It's a what's the word I want to use? It's like reflection. Like I chose the path that I did. I don't regret anything that I ever did in life. Everything was a stepping stone to a life lesson. So it tells me that now that they're calling my name, baby, I did what I had to do, and that's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And it's true. Because I told her, I said, Consuela, what do you need? Because everybody and literally their mama be calling on Consuela. Y'all think Jermaine works hard. That one, she take care of everybody. Everybody, everybody. And I'm like, girl, what do you need? Because you need, let me steal you. Let me take you away from all of these people and just breathe and exist in your skin because Consuela does a lot of things for people. And again, that's admirable, man. The fact that like people who may not have shown up when you needed them to in the
Mhm.
ways that you needed them to, but yet these are the people that you are helping and that you are aiding in their through their life struggles and their health issues and all this other stuff. I'm like, girl, I said, Lord, you did that. You
Mhm.
did that. So, but anyway, speaking of black sheep, the name I did not steal you keys. She hopped in my car willingly sometimes. Anyway, um speaking of black sheep, this is the Inimitable podcast, and as I say all the time, Inimitable is something that is so unique it is impossible to duplicate. AKA, this is for the neurospicy individuals, the black sheeps of the world. And as Consuela said, she identified as said black sheep. So, inimitable. What is the strength behind being a black sheep? Because I think a lot of people, the reason why I use inimitable and not black sheep is because black sheeps have a negative connotation. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, nah, ain't nothing wrong about being a black sheep. Like, we don't. So, what are
Mm-hmm.
the strengths to being a black sheep or inimitable individual?
I think it's honestly finally coming to terms about who the hell you are. Once you're able to accept you for who you are, ain't shit else matter from anybody. Nobody's perspective. It don't matter for nobody.
Yeah.
Once you are comfortable in your own skin and you feel good about yourself and you're able to tell yourself that, baby, it don't matter. So that's what makes us strong. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Can't see 5'5", there's a lot of things small feet, what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell me nothing, baby. You can't tell me nothing.
She ain't lying. Shorty is short.
Wow.
Listen, she took her shoes off, and I said, "Where the rest of it? Her feet are like this." And then my mama yesterday was like, "How big are your feet?" She's like 6 or 7. Them things are tiny. I'm like, well, it checks. Consuela's short because I guess my mom is just used to my freaking Amazon self with my size 10.5 foot, but whatever. Tiara said that you are the backbone. And she is.
Thanks,
She
sis.
is. Honestly, Consuela is that the one in our generation that's going to keep us all together. It ain't me, it's her. Because Consuela will drive to Lynn, to Framingham, to Boston, to Brockton, to New Hampshire, to Vermont, if any of us were down there. And she's the one that kind of, our generation will be the one that kind of keeps it together, which again is quite amazing given the fact that she was the one that was kind of like on the outside for some time, and now she's back. And we thank God that she's back because, hey, y'all. So it's getting towards the end. And yes, she is the glue. Excuse me. A part of what I do at the end of every episode is kind of giving the advice, right? So last week it was twofold. This week is going to be twofold. Like, I'm going to ask if you can first give advice or encouraging words to the ones who have been in your shoes, whether they've been in foster care systems, residential programs, something, the black sheeps. Give an encouraging word to them on how they can navigate these difficult spaces and hopefully maybe find their way back or find a new family or whatever it is.
Okay. Yeah. Um, I feel like there's two things. It's open dialogue about the support that you need because nobody's gonna know that except for you, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then the other part is while you're having that dialogue, really toning into who do you feel is going to be the support for you. Sometimes, especially with youth who are in foster care, it's like DCF is like, we don't feel like this person's right for you. No, tell them why this person's right for you. Give them the reasons why, explain why. It may not be right for them on paper, but baby, that is right for you. And
Mm-hmm.
whoever's right for you is gonna have your back and stand by you tenfold. And also I think we don't, not we don't, but in residential, in DCF, in foster care, group homes, foster homes, respite homes, whatever the case may be, I think it's very important that you have to find what works for you and what's the best for you and what you love to do and what excites you. There's going to be goals put in place for you by others. Going to be expectations, is what I mean, not goals, but expectations that others put on you that they want you to meet. And unless you have your input in it and you decide on that, you're not going to work on it, right? It's not going to be for you because you don't give a damn about it. Make sure you have that voice. Make sure you sit at that table and you have that conversation. This is what I don't want to do. This is how I'm going to do it. And I need y'all support with it. Just really advocating. It's hard to do if
Mm-hmm.
you're not able to and you kind of, you're not assertive, but there's always somebody who's willing to help. Find that person, talk to them, open dialogue, and go from there.
I love that. And I love it for so many reasons. I think finding your voice is very difficult for a lot of people. And it's something that is so empowering and so, like, I guess empowering is a word, but it elevates self to a way where it's like, I'm not just going to settle for anything. I have a voice. I may be young, but I know what I need. I may not know what I need 5 years from now, but in this moment, I know what I need. And again, adults, y'all, we got to do better. We have to do better. Listen to these young people. I had Kamara on last week, and she was only 16, but she sounded so articulate in the stuff that she needed. And it's because, she's had practice. I've at least tried to help her be like, girl, what do you want? What do you need? No, seriously, what do you need? And the fact that Consuela said that, like, advocate on all fronts. You hear me? Because working in a residential, DCF will just drop you off and be like, I'll see you in 2 weeks or 2 months or whatever. And, sometimes families don't do the work to receive the person back home. So this kid is just sitting like a sitting duck in these programs. And when they get worse, it's like, well, can you blame them? Take me from my home and tell me I can't go back home for some time. And now I got to listen to these complete strangers telling me when I can eat, when I can go shower, where I can and cannot. It's not, they're not bad kids. They just come from very bad situations. And when they're not listened to, what do you expect? Right? Listen to them. So thank you for that. When it comes to family members, now that we're transitioning, what's the advice for families to handle and deal with the secrets or the truth that they choose to omit? The stuff that they know needs to be talked about and that needs to change, but they're just like, we got a real tight lip on that one.
Man, I don't know. There's such a stigma, I think, especially in our culture, where it's like, you know what I'm saying? We just got, you know what I'm saying? It don't happen here. We got to, don't answer the door. Don't do this. Don't do that. Like, don't talk to nobody. What happens here stays here. We ain't in Las Vegas. Like, we ain't casino. We ain't like, what are we doing? I don't get it. I don't know if there's really an answer to that other than if you are a family member who wants to try to break that, wants to try to have a conversation dialogue, just do it. The person who you may be trying to have it with may not be open to it, and that's fine. But as long as you said your piece and you at least initiated that and you tried it, can't nobody fault you for nothing. You tried it.
Yeah.
Right? You did it. Some people can't receive it, as I said before, depending on who you're talking to, and that's okay. But at least you did your part if that's what you're trying to do. Not everybody's going to mend, things. Not everybody's going to come together. Not everybody got different opinions, outlooks, and everything else. But I mean, if you're one of the family members trying to break things down and make sure that everybody's okay, start the conversation, initiate it. And if not, tag somebody who you feel is going to help you and support you with that.
Right, because if I can't say something, I'm like, hey, y'all, Sway, what you doing, bro? Oh my God. What did Tiara say? Tiara said it took a while for me to know what I want. I don't know. And what? Oh, wait. Sorry, y'all. Jamaica can't read. It's late. Anyway, took a while for me to know what I want, don't want, and what I'm not going for. Once you get there, it gets a lot easier. Advocate for yourself always. And then she said, which we try to keep up with the Joneses, and then play your part, give it 100 and walk away knowing you did all that you could. I agree. There is, I think my advice, I don't usually give the advice because I let my guests do it, but this is obviously so close to home. I brought on my own family, so y'all know it's real personable. Okay. I would say if you have witnessed, as the individual, as a person, if you have witnessed something that you feel like this needs to not continue in this family lineage, say something. I think, and that can be any family, church family, biological family, friend, family. Like I have learned how to create these safe, non-judgmental spaces because I needed safe, non-judgmental spaces. And it's because like when you witness something and when you go through things, you like Consuela just said, like you need somebody who's gonna be like, come here, bring that here. I understand, it's fine. Let's talk about it, right? And there are so many of my clients was like, this happened to my grandmother, then it happened to my mother, it happened to my aunt, it happened to my older sister, it happened to me, and now it happened to my daughter. That was one people too many. It should have stopped at Nana. But if it keeps going, somebody's not doing their job. Somebody isn't speaking up. And it's like if we out a person, then we out a person. Like it is what it is. And we learn how to embrace people and we learn how to forgive people. Consuela literally just gave her whole story that literally said, I forgave over and over and over again. But it's like we don't have these conversations. The next generation is going to continue to go through the stuff that we didn't want for ourselves, that we suffered through. We have to say something, right? So on top of what Consuela has said this whole entire time, if you feel like there's something that there's patterns that you're witnessing in the family and family members, embrace them. Please don't throw them away. I feel like there's so many young people in shelters and programs because, like Consuela said, they just spoke up and said, y'all, this is crazy. But they weren't received well. So they were kicked out. They were ostracized. And lies are being made about them because they said the truth. Like, let's just do better. Please and thank you. So, Sway, I appreciate you being here. This was a great conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining in. Whether you're watching this live, rebroadcast, someone shared this with you. Thank you. So this is the final episode of 2024, but this is not my last. This is not my last by any means. Brianna said I'm coming on next. I mean, you can, Tiara, like what's up? Because I don't have anyone for next week. So there's that. Anyway, so if there was anything that was not, period. She said she ate down. If there is anyone, any questions that you have for me or any of my guests from any of these episodes, please let me know. I guess you can slide in the DMs if you must. If not, afightingchance@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, anything that you would like to share. Again, Sway, thank you for coming on. Y'all don't click off. There's an outro video that's coming on. I hope you guys have an amazing New Year's Eve. Y'all stay safe. Don't drink and drive. Be safe. And Sway, I'll see you when you get here. Hey guys, Jermaine here. Thank you for watching this episode. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Listen, I am looking to transition everything to my YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/@AFCCS77. Go there, go subscribe, and let your people know because a lot of my content is already on there. I have a series called Black Man Heal series. That was great. I Am series is on there. Join the Fight series is on there. And now this Inimitable podcast is on there. So all of the content that I've been putting together for the past, year and a half, it's all on there. So please go check it out. Also, after this, there's going to be a flyer that's talking about Jermaine's ready to go to work. Okay. Mentoring young people and young adults between the ages of 14 and 26. I'm really trying to do that more. So if you know any programs and churches that have some young people that need mentorship and need group counseling, let me know. We can talk, we can contract, we can partner, and maybe doing more podcast episodes. I'm just ready to get in there. So again, go to YouTube. I will see you later. Check out this flyer. All right, bye.